What happens when a former president faces a massive fraud case? What if he must pay up to the tune of $464 million? This isn't a hypothetical scenario. It's a very real situation that Donald Trump, the 45th President of the United States, finds himself in. Chronologically, the story begins with a judgment against Trump in a New York civil fraud case. The court ruled that Trump must pay a staggering sum of $464 million. The former president had two options: either make a full payment in cash or obtain a bond to proceed with his appeal. The catch? His lawyers reported that finding a bonding company willing to guarantee such a large amount was proving to be a significant challenge. For a fee, a bonding company would ensure the complete amount to the court in New York. Should Trump lose his appeal and find himself unable to pay, the bonding company would be responsible for covering the cost. Trump's lawyers spent considerable time negotiating with a major insurance company, only to discover that very few bonding companies were willing to take on such a risk. Despite reaching out to 30 companies, their efforts bore no fruit. Adding to the complexity, Trump's two eldest sons are also required to pay millions of dollars in relation to the case. And not just that, Judge Arthur Engoron of New York prohibited Trump from conducting any business activities in the state for a period of 3 years after determining that the former president had misrepresented his assets to obtain more favorable loan agreements. The lawyers representing Trump included an affidavit from a president of a private insurance firm in their most recent filing. It stated the rarity of encountering a bond of such magnitude. According to them, bonds of this scale are typically offered to the largest public companies globally, not individuals or privately held businesses. What happens next? That's a question even legal experts like former federal prosecutor Diana Florence find challenging to answer. She noted that penalties of this size are usually reserved for large corporations. His legal team has been using tactics to prolong the appeal process, but it seems their options may be dwindling. The New York Attorney General is committed to seizing Trump's assets unless he fulfills the payment for the fraud judgment. The penalty continues to grow, accumulating at a rate of at least $112,000 per day until settled. Trump's lawyers claim that bond companies prefer cash or cash equivalents as collateral for the bond. According to a Forbes estimate, Trump's net worth is approximately $2.6 billion, with $400 million in liquid assets. However, the $464 million judgment isn't his only financial burden. Earlier this year, he was ordered to pay $83 million in a defamation case. In conclusion, the former president is stuck between a rock and a hard place. He faces a massive judgment, the difficulty of securing a bond, and the possibility of having his assets seized. His fate hinges on whether a court grants him an extension, but time and options are running thin. As the legal saga continues, the world watches, waiting for the next chapter in this unprecedented narrative.